We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all. Very glad to be here with you today. I had to make a little switch up to the office, so I don't think the aesthetics are as nice as I could get them at my own place, but this is what we got, so it's fine. Just glad to be here. Welcome to our Sunday gathering. A shout out to anyone who might be listening on the radio, as well as anyone who might listen to our recording at a later date. Glad to have you here. I am going to go ahead and ask Dawn to play our normal gathering music so we can greet everybody. And it is We Are Awakening by Deva Permel and Mitten. And this gives us a chance to greet another and settle in for our time together. So I will ask Dawn to do that. Nice to see everybody. So our statement of purpose at Awakening Together. We are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within an appearance of many faiths and many cultures and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. And then for all of our homilies, we try and find one of our core values that we think pertains the most to what we're sharing for the day. And I picked core value number 5, which is that we accept all forms as temporary appearances permitted through enduring awareness of self. And we live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continuously reflecting on the changeless truth. All right, thank you, Reverend James Taylor, for that. I love the line, a passage through the darkness and the mist. I believe that that is what purification is. I have kind of had a readjustment about what that all means over the last week, so I'm quite grateful for that, and which is one of the reasons why everything got switched up. You start out the week with thinking you know what you're going to talk about, and it morphs and changes and shifts, and you just go with it. And so I think what we ended up with today is what is supposed to be today. So let us go ahead and say a prayer and be here now. Dear Father, thank you so much for this time together. I thank you for what has come to me today to teach, knowing that it is what I am to learn. It is what I have asked for. It's what I have called to. And I'm grateful. I am grateful for the process, the gift, which is purification. I am grateful that it can take us all from the belief of who we are not to the belief and the remembrance of who we are. Thank you again for the time together. I am grateful for all who are here in love and service. I thank you. Amen. All righty. And Reverend Wanda is going to read for us today from Colossians 3 and 4. Thank you so much. It's all yours.
Hello, so nice to be here. I'm reading from page 358 from NTI Colossians chapter 3 and 4. We're going to start with chapter 3. And it says, the world is a dream that seems to be what you thought you wanted. If you look at it in denial, it can fool you from a little longer. For the world has in it a glimmer and a shine that you may appeal to you in your forgetfulness. But nothing in the world can last. It offers you a never eternal. Turn your mind from the desires of the world. Set your mind on the certainty of the heart. It knows all that you truly desire. Your true desires are eternal. Remember yourself, which is eternal, and you will know that you cannot be satisfied with glimmerings of the temporal. Remember yourself, which is eternal, and you will know with certainty that your focus cannot be settled on something that shines for a little while. To believe that you can be happy with anything that does not last is to deny that you are the truth of what you are. Do not deny yourself in the glimmering of the world. This way is the way of loss. Therefore, remember who you are. Although you are not fully aware, the little that you have is enough to carry you very far. Focus on your lessons and learn to change your mind. It is the practice that will lead you to see. As you see, you accept. And as you accept, you begin to desire. In this way, you follow yourself back to your home, which is the knowledge of your fully joy and happiness. May you practice your lesson in this way. Be grateful for the truth that you know. Practice it with wisdom and pray that more truth be given. Be grateful to your brothers who show you what you have learned. Welcome your lessons in vigor, that you may grow in mastery of the way. Embrace all that you see, knowing it comes from you. Correct that which needs corrections and immerse the mind in the reflection of the truth. Look on all that you see and love it, but you do not identify with it. It is not your truth or your reality. It is a reflection of your thoughts. Be grateful for the love that you find. Embrace it, but also be grateful for the reflections that seems not to be love. For it's what it seems not to be. It comes to you in love and grace to show you what you have thought that you might choose again. Praise your mistakes, that they may be corrected. For it's only in praise and acceptance that the truth may be known. NTI Colossians chapter 4. Watch your mind, and you watch what it is that you do. With this knowledge, you might be gladly choose again. But you will not choose again if you keep out of awareness that which you are doing. So watch your mind vigorously and know what it is that you do. Watch this body that is in the world. Watch it with great interest, for it represents the thoughts that are foremost in your mind. See it as the manifestation in your wishes and your prayer. See it as the physical representation of that wish you desire. Now, as you wash this body, do so with honesty, detachment, and the desire to learn. Does this body, in all that it does and in all that it shares, represent the desire you will have it represented? Good news, my brothers. The body is nothing. What it does is nothing to be distressed over. But you might learn from washing, and then using the knowledge you gain from learning, you may choose to choose again. So watch what the body does. And be glad you can see it so clearly. What does your mind report to you when you watch your brother? Listen to them or think of them. Be careful what your mind reports, as it thinks of them is a trick. Your mind is distracting you from washing the mind in the way you intend to. Remember that everything you think and watch your brother, listen to him, or think of him is a thought within your mind that must be watched by you. Look at your thoughts about your brother. What it is that you are desiring by allowing those thoughts within the mind. It's that you are asking for thoughts, the flow of creation that is you. Give greeting unto your hearts and learn what you ask by washing your mind. Give greetings to your heart in this way. Remember to wash your mind vigorously, for that is the desire of your heart. As you honor its request, you send its greetings of love. Remain detached from the thoughts that you find, yet fully observant. The heart beats you to remember that the mind receives thoughts of all kinds. It is your habit to accept whatever the mind receives. Now you are being asked to learn discernment. Notice what it receives, but realize you need not keep it just because you receive it. Receiving it does not mean you must keep it. Give greeting to the heart by practicing discernment. With the heart, let it desire be the judge of the thoughts you will keep and the thoughts you will let go. Remember this. The desire of your heart is only this, for this is the only desire it will place on the flow of creation that is you. Know thyself. Be willing to know thyself without distraction, and you give truth greeting to the heart. Share all that I share with you, with your brothers' thoughts, your contemplation. For as you contemplate my words, you learn them. As you learn them, you accept them. As you accept them, your desire and practice them. As you desire and practice them, you teach them and see the flow of life that is you. Place your mind in subordination to the heart in great joy. For in placing the mind in subordination to the heart, you join with yourself in the true desire of self. I come through our true desire, which is our together because we are one. Blessings to to you in practice. I am with you always. Amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Wanda, for that joyful reading. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was great that you emphasized that joy word. I have at the very top of my page. I was talking to my mother last night. I talk to her every night, and I was sharing with her the anxiety and all that stuff that I get prior to this, adrenaline and stuff. And she says, "Oh, Kelly, you need to enjoy this. That's why you do it. You need to enjoy." So I wrote on the top of my little note sheet, "Remember to do this in joy." And then Wanda reminded me how to do that in joy. So thank you so very, very much. All righty. So I knew early on for this homily what the topic would be. I knew it was going to be on purification in some fashion. I'm co-facilitating the MPP Understanding Purification this month. And so I broke out my copy of Untethered Soul. I like to read as I'm facilitating so I can keep up and do all that stuff. So I broke out the book again. It's not my first time through this beautiful book. I think the first time I read it, I have marked the dates actually right here, right there. You can see them. There's 4 dates here. So the first time was September 14th of 2014, and I believe that was probably during my MPP course. Then I had another start date of August 30th in 2017, then tried again in November of 2017, and then just rewrote October 4th, 2020 on the top of that. So I know that I completed the book the first time I read it because that was for MPP. But I know that the second start and the third start were not finished completely. My relationship to the idea of purification, I did not know, this was just recently revealed to me, has been one where every time this book would be brought into my awareness or the topic of purification would come up, it is like I could feel my heart go, wee, yay, and my head go, ugh, just this. Oh, I just don't want to go through this. And that has always been the case. And like I said, it was just recently kind of revealed to me that. So I began rereading this book this time. And then even just as soon as Thursday, when I was sending the description to Dawn, I still had kind of that feeling that I was going to talk about really the horrible process of purification. I didn't want to, but I knew that I had to be, honest with how I was feeling about everything at the time. And so it was going to be about the frustrations and the heartaches and all that stuff related to purification and how I have made that a little less painful. That was what we were going to do. So, and as of today, as I share this with you, what has shifted for me and what I realize is that I have truly, truly misunderstood both the process and the purpose of purification. And I'm grateful, and that is probably what I want to share with you today instead. I have misunderstood. I do finally see it as the incredible, open-handed gift that it is. And whether that be your first time through a process of purification, or you have some great understanding and then you just kind of hit some roadblocks as you go. Either way, every time, it is a gift. So what kind of started this off, and then we'll go through the reading with the pieces that I think really kind of highlight my new understanding. Last week, Reverend Beverly's homily was kind of a catalyst for this for me. So I certainly want to say from my heart to yours, thank you for being willing, and thank you so much for what you shared with us. It was very powerful, and it kind of hung with me all week and percolated and came and left, and it was pretty awesome. So in your reading, there was a statement about the ego being the one that wanted to awaken. I finally was able to see with a greater clarity than I ever had what the spiritual ego was all about, and how it has gotten in the way during my journey. Obviously, that's what it does. I have been approaching purification as a spiritual self-improvement course rather than a practice in letting go of the self altogether. And that was an incredible awareness for me. I did not see that. I just did not see. So I wanted to, I see that my desires were along the line of, I wanted to get good. I wanted to be more forgiving. I want to be more peaceful, even that motive. And so I recognized that I was really just trying to use spiritual literature and practice and all that stuff to build a better mousetrap, kind of, just to try and get it to a spot where I could manage it all, instead of getting to a spot where I'm willing to just let go of it all. So, and then she also shared this beautiful realization that she is already the awakened state. And I finally understood that is who we are. The rest of this truly has been only an appearance. And I have heard that. It's been an appearance of an individual self. Now, all of my mentors, the very special ones to me, the ones I consider my teachers, the ones I listen to and hang with, Regina and Jacqueline, and all my lovely, lovely ladies in Gentle Healing, have repeatedly shared these truths with me, and all within earshot. I've been right there in the sanctuary with them, in Gentle Healing with them, and heard this stuff, but did not have the ears at the time to hear. And so now I heard. So that nugget she shared, then the nugget that she shared that was with me all week, that just never left me, was, she said, how our life appears could no more tell us where we are in our awakening process than the ego could. And I realized that that's exactly what I have been doing, is looking to my life, looking to the appearance, what kind of shape my relationships are in at work, what kind of shape the company I work for is in general, how my spouse is behaving, what his mood is, how my mom is. All these things I have used to try and give me feedback about where I am spiritually, where I am in that progression. So what I did notice from that, with this, let's see. So coming from this place that I have come from previous to this new awareness, I was able to see from the point of view that I came from for just trying to get a spiritual self-improvement course. It is almost necessary from that spot to experience the discomfort of attachment in many of its forms, and has lots of forms, as almost a kind of punishment for not being better or more peaceful or more forgiving prior to that. And that has been the painful part of purification for me. I have viewed it as, well, this is just the price you have to pay for having bought into the idea of being a separate entity. Then now as you experience this separateness, it's kind of like a punishment for having done that. And so I could understand why my attitudes about purification were fairly resistant, I guess you could say. So purification then, the new understanding that came to me is that it truly is just the process. And I know, I mean, this even as I'm sharing this, and I think I need to share it for myself this way, it feels like kindergarten 101 to me. I mean, just even as I share this. But that's how I need things. I think that's why I have been called at times to teach, or why I've been called at times to share in here, is because it gives me time to clarify truly how I see it. The majority of my spiritual chatter over the last couple years has been a whole bunch of stuff that I thought I knew that I don't. So this is an opportunity for me to get it down to something I can understand. So it's simply the process of letting go of the false. And letting go of the false because it is false, because it is nothing. Not because it is something that makes me bad. I had another realization that I have labeled myself lazy for the majority of my life. And it finally dawned on me that I'm not lazy. I've just been terrified the majority of my life. And I literally frozen by fear. And I can see now that that is because I have always thought that this stuff was real, that the appearance was real. And the new approach that Beverly was able to share with me was the idea of coming from accessing and knowing who I am to start with before I look at what I'm letting go of because it's false. So I start at the place of truth. And then as the other things show up, so the other identities come, the identity of being a boss, and supposed to know what other people are supposed to be doing. And I don't. I feel like a fraud at times. Our company is going through some real challenges right now, and so I've people come and they want suggestions, and I put on my HR hat at times and pretend like I know. And this last week, I had this beautiful epiphany where I was able to say, I am not sure. I am not sure how we are to proceed with that. Let's take some time. Let's regroup. And I didn't have to come up with an answer right away. And so that was helpful. So learning to let go of the false because it is false, because it is in no way a reflection of who I am in truth. It's not a process of getting rid of the false. We actually learn through the loving all method that this is not anything that we are trying to throw away, these energies, these thought patterns, these conditioned pieces of who we are. We're not getting rid of them. That actually the only way to see the falsity of it is to embrace it first, to embrace it and love it. And it reminds me of the idea of when you're not quite sure what to do, go for God and the rest of it will fall away. And that has been the experience for me. So, and then in our reading, what was highlighted, another purpose that I see of the purification process is to choose again. It gives us the space to see the two alternatives, the two choices, perhaps, the one for the false and the one for truth, and to sit in the one for truth. And that kind of was also shown to me, a work experience that I had just this last week. And there was a lot of conflict and a lot of blame. And I was throwing some of it around myself, and which obviously creates the space of where I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be attacked because I'm participating in all that. So I felt all that stuff going on. I had a lot of dialogue going on around it, a lot of ideas about who they thought I was, who I thought I was, who I thought they were, you know, all that stuff. And it was one of those moments where the fear gets so bad, I almost feel as though I could throw up. I can't explain it any other way. It's that deep drudge. And what happened for me was I actually came into my office and I closed the door, and I sat down right here where I am. This is now holy ground. And I realized first that I had all this fear. It was a ton of fear. I realized that it was not caused by the experience going on out there, outside that door. It was not related to what was going on at work. It was just fear, and that's all. And then this sweet little voice came to me that said, isn't this what all these practices have been leading you to, is that you do not have to participate in this. You can let this go. And in a moment, I was able to drop it by seeing it. And this lightness showed up for me. I was able to walk out the door and just change the dialogue that I'd been having with people and lighten up and feel the relief of that. And I just finally saw it as something that was just not true. That all the attack, all the projection, all the guilt that came after, all the fear of retaliation, all of that was simply not true. And I was able to let it go. And so I believe I was kind of shown what this purification thing can truly be, that that it is a gift instead of the painful thing that I had made it out to be the whole time. So I'm going to buzz back and highlight just a little bit of the reading, the parts that really helped cement some of this stuff for me. And I just did this reading. I think this was, this might have been yesterday's reading from Gentle Healing, which is when I made the decision of switching the reading up. So, the things that we are not in the world, I love the idea that the world has in it a glimmer and a shine that may appeal to your forgetfulness, and that is, you know, what happens, the shiny objects. It's James Taylor talks about can't get no light from a dollar bill. And I was just thinking about the difference between the world is a glimmer and has a shine, and then we compare that to who we are, and that is brilliant light. So we have just some glimmers and shine coming from the world, and it can attract us. But the light is brilliant, the light that we know ourselves to be. Then on middle of page 359, it says, may you practice your lessons in this way. May you purify in this way. There's a list of things. Be grateful. Practice with wisdom. Be grateful for your brothers who have shown you what you have learned. Welcome your lessons in vigor, that you may grow in mastery of the way. Embrace all that you see, knowing it comes from you. Correct that which needs correction, and immerse the mind in the reflection of truth. And one of the things that stood out for me in that was that of all that list, there's only one little piece about correction. And I have always thought that purification was totally about correcting. My husband used to remind me, he would say, Kelly, you are not just a mistake-making machine, so just quit looking for them all. And so that is a nice reminder. Praise your mistakes that they may be corrected. What an incredible idea to change that around, to praise them and highlight them and see them, so you can release them as opposed to justifying them, creating rationale for why they're there, trying to trace back to where they came from, where they started. That it seems to be unnecessary. And then in chapter 4, the reminder to remember this, the desire of the heart is only this, to remember and to know thyself. It does not say discover thyself, find thyself, create thyself. It says know thyself, that which you are, which you've always been, the love and the peace and the joy that is in there. And you just spent some time creating something else, and that can be let go. And there are practices for that. And that's what the practices were designed for no other reason, not to beat yourself up, not to be better than or less than anybody that you're in presence of, and just remember and know thyself. So blessings to you in your practice. It ends with I am with you always. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. And also there's some beautiful stuff with the tips that came out with this reading. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's Regina wrote, the evolutionary motion within consciousness now is a motion toward truth realization. In NTI, this motion is described as the desire to know thyself. So one who accepts this motive as his or her motive is consciously and actively shifting attention. So that's to enliven illusion, but to recognize life. And shifting attention is, in this way, is called changing your mind. So that's a pretty succinct definition for me about really what purification is. Consciously and actively shifting the attention from who I thought I was to who I am in truth. And knowing that I've always been that. And that is a whole different platform to do this work from, for me. And I'm grateful for that. My heart feels open, and a willingness that I have not had in a while, and a joy that I had not felt as well. So that is all that I have got to share with you today. And we will go to another song that we can use for contemplation. And this is a great time to donate. And if you feel guided to. And this next song, I need to cue it up here. I found, I think it's the early 90s. And I absolutely loved it then. And then I kind of lost it for a while. I didn't find it. I didn't have it in my own library. And then I was just cruising through YouTube and found it. And so we are going to listen to that. It is called In the House of Stone and Light, and it's from a gentleman named Martin Page. And he has, I think he has the album that he had this song on had just a ton of really beautiful inspirational music. So anyway, let me share again. All right, there we go. Now, would somebody like to share? This is the time we have some open sharing. We got a little bit of time if anybody would like to. Regina, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I can't tell you what a joy that was to listen to you, Kelly. It was a joy because I could actually see your mind waking up. Mm-hmm. I could see the realizations happening in a very genuine way. Like I knew you weren't just, parroting what you read or that somebody told you. And, my experience is we act from, we live from who we think we are. So to go around saying, I am an awareness, I am unaffected, I am the true self, and then getting upset over this and upset over that and upset over this, just proves I don't know. I mean, that's all intellectual. It's not real. When it's real, I live from who I think I am. I had an interesting experience this week. My mom's husband's son, so I guess he's my stepbrother, but we've never lived together. She married this man once I was already an adult, so he doesn't feel like my stepbrother yet. But he's visiting my mom this week. But when I was younger, I did have other step siblings and other step parents, and there was lots of conflict. This guy, I barely know. but But it was funny because I was taking him and my mom out on Friday for a drive. And as I was walking out the door, I don't even remember what it was, but this vicious thought about him and me not wanting to do this or something like that passed the mind. And I just laughed at it. I thought, I laughed at it. I knew that was a burp from the past, a burp from my childhood, a burp from other step relationships. Had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with him. And as you can tell, it's completely forgotten. I can't even remember what it was. Had nothing to do with our day. But when you think you're this person and you think that maybe there's a step sibling that's, getting some attention you're not getting or whatever the thought was, you act from it, right? You act cold and rude to him. And it's all about who you think you are. When you know that you aren't that, even if these thoughts do show up, you're able to completely disregard them. And in fact, during the process, it takes practice to disregard them. That's what we call forgiveness. It takes active journaling, maybe, active remembering who I am, active remembering what I want. And that's because we're switching from the old habit of who we thought we are to the new realization of who we are. But once we have switched from that old habit, even if these thoughts still appear, they're easily disregarded because it's not who I am. And I'm only going to act from who I am. I'm only going to speak from who I am. I'm only going to be from who I am. Why would I act from who I'm not? So I just thought it was so clear. And again, I can see you having the realizations. I also want to say, I adore that you were able to see that you thought purification was like a type of punishment, which of course is extremely distorted. And so I'm glad you saw that. But it would certainly affect your practice in such a huge and negative way. It would make it almost impossible to practice forgiveness if that's your attitude. When you see that it's a gift, that it's helping you wake up to the realization of who you are, that it's helping you to leave all the pain behind and to step into full joy, then you can practice it with vigor, with joy, with excitement, just like learning anything that you want to learn, right? That's the happy learner that A Course in Miracles talks about. So I thought your talk was brilliant. Again, I could tell it was absolutely genuine, and it just filled me with such joy. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Regina. Thanks a bunch. Anybody else? Okay, well, I do have one more song. We could.
Beverly would like to speak.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I can't
didn't
see
her, so
everything.
just
Thank
that
you.
moment.
Okay, thanks.
I really enjoyed your homily, and something that you said about fear made me think of some things when you were talking about the fear coming up and looking at it. And what I've been experiencing lately is looking at things that are coming up for me based on what's happening now, like whether it's an emotional charge or whatever it might be. And really almost inquiring what it is, like what is it, not why it is or what is connected to in my past, but just kind of like really being in the moment of what is this thing, whether it's something that keeps coming up over and over again, really just questioning it without my mind a little bit. And so that's really been helpful. But you reminded me of that when you brought up how you were looking at fear. And I'm also noticing that, some of what's been causing my suffering is kind of the space between where I see myself and where I think I am. And it's like, I guess I'm coming to the point where I'm feeling like I'm not personally going to close that gap. Like, and some of my suffering is me trying to, make it come together and make it kind of fit or make it look like what I think it's supposed to look like. But, just like through willingness, through practicing, that's something that I feel like has to come into alignment just from me, shifting. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ron?
Yeah, hey, Kelly. Really, really great. And I do appreciate your honesty. And I've had some similar challenges, particularly the word purification. Again, different strokes for different folks. And I think that it's interesting how what will sync with one particular person may strike somebody else a little bit differently, and that there's just a different facet that can be looked at, or a slightly different direction that can be looked at from, and all of a sudden it becomes a lot more clear. Mm-hmm. I think both your homily this morning and last week's by Beverly we're really opening to that, because we have this dynamic that there is nothing to wake up to because we're already awake, but yet what's appearing is something that appears different, but is appearance reality? So I think once there's this conviction that we know what we are, what we are, then what appears is looked at in a very different way. Again, just from my perspective, there's nothing that needs to be cleaned up. There's nothing that needs to be done, except with what appears, because we have a body, we have these vibrations that get trapped within us because of these, for me, 64 years of different ways of blocking things and bypassing things, that if all of a sudden a feeling comes up in a situation, it's just to rest with that feeling, knowing who I am and what I am, but resting with that feeling. And yes, is that an uncomfortable feeling? Is that something that I would choose to particularly experience in the past? No, now it's the full safety of just, it's a weird combination of, wow, I'm perfectly safe, I can watch this and feel wonderful, with part of me actually not feeling so wonderful. And it's just clearing that vibration. So it's it's an interesting area to be able to affirm not only what we are, but to be able to live from that experience as these things clear more and more, just by sitting with them. As Beverly says, you're asking a question without asking for an answer. It's the answerless question. You don't want to, for me, I think drilling down and trying to get to where that really is kind of actually rooting that problem. It's actually, then it's going to make sure that problem is going to continue to manifest. It's just asking, is it really true? And because I have this, deep conviction of what I really am, it's almost a rhetorical question in a sense, because I know on that level it's not true, but yet it's still something that I'm feeling that needs to be released, which I don't know any other way to describe it. It's kind of an odd set of circumstances, but thank you for addressing this.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Okay, we are out of time. So I'm going to let go of the mic, and I believe we have our fellowship time following this. And thanks again. Love you all. I will see you in here later on, or thanks again, Wanda. Appreciate it very much. Or see you on the forum or in Gentle Healing or wherever. Love you all.
Thank you for watching. This was our weekly gathering that we hold online. For more information, you can visit our website at awakening-together.org, or you can subscribe to our Awakening Together channel and click the bell for more notifications when we post our weekly gatherings. Thank you again for watching.